Well, hello and welcome to another Thursday Live. Dr. Jerry Dreessen here. And I want to welcome those of you that are watching us for the first time and those of you that are here on a regular basis. I wanted to kind of work today on what we call the basics of PEMF. So let me jump into my slides here. There we go. Today I'd like to go back to the basics. So some of you are here and you're just learning about PEMF, what this whole thing is about. And so I thought I would take us to the literally the ABCs of PEMF. So some of you are already a master at this. Some of you will have it as review, and some of you are like, hey, it's pretty good information. I didn't know that about PEMF. So today what I want to cover are some of the basics, like what is PEMF? What's the 7.83Hz? The Schumann resonance, what the heck is that all about? And we'll talk about Gauss, talk about Tesla. We'll have all of those things showing up. So I want to get started here. And hi, Karen. Welcome to the show. And with that, let's get rolling here. I've got a few slides that I want to bring in. And let me just kind of drop myself out of the way here. So what the heck is PEMF? And there are lots of acronyms that are out there. And the ones that we like to do is use the basic PEMF, which is pulsed electromagnetic field. Now, you'll also hear about pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, so PEMFT, or other variations. And so PEMF itself is what the system produces. And what is PEMF? Well, it is Earth's magnetic field. That's the electromagnetic field that we talk about. And we have this pulsation that happens and occurs. And we have this amazing field that was discovered that was used initially for germinating seeds that were, became healthy plants. And then people started using it, experimenting on animals and noticing that, bones were healing faster, health was returning. And then it kind of moved over to the human side, found out all these different types of healings that were occurring. And as a result of that, the guys that walk around with the pocket protectors with pens, the geeks, the scientists, the men and the women that took apart this whole system and found out that Earth's magnetic field, which is often referenced as the Schumann resonance, and the frequency of Earth's magnetic field, and that is where the sun's magnetic field shoots at us, hits the Earth, bounces back up to the ionosphere, and comes back down and creates this frequency. Now, what's weird about that is that's the frequency that we all survive and thrive in. So without that magnetic field, we wouldn't exist, in my opinion. It's a frequency that's needed for optimum cellular respiration in all things, plants, animals. It helps heal. I always joked about Jason and the Argonauts and the golden fleece, and they would throw this golden fleece on people and it would shake and glow. And it's like, well, that's That's kind of like a PEMF mat, if you think about it, which is very interesting how they had that concept. But now you kind of know a little bit about what the Schumann resonance is all about, and it's a natural frequency. It's associated with Earth's magnetic field and is considered to be a fundamental oscillation within the cavity between the Earth's surface and ionosphere. Tons and tons of research have been done with that. There is some really cool things that are going on. I want to just stop for a second here and say hi to everybody that's with us today. We've got Maureen. Thank you. Hello from Chicago. Good to see you. And also, Maureen talks about how she's got her Maya Pro with Schumann resonance. Yep. We've got Deborah's jumping in saying hi. Western Texas. Hi, Deborah. Welcome. We've also got Sheena here. Welcome, Sheena. Thanks for joining us. From where I am, Washington State, we've got Sheena, and then also Dee is here. Hi, Dee. And welcome. We've got Rob. Rob's here from Alberta. Welcome, Rob. Hope you're doing well up there, and glad to see you. And we've got Kim in San Diego. Hi, Kim. Good to see you there. And looks like we've got Connie's joining us again from Ohio. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. As we move forward here, we talked a little bit about Schumann resonance. So how does this whole thing work with PEMF? Well, in a very simple layout, there is a generation box that generates the 7.83 hertz, puts it down some sort of a line into some sort of an attachment where the PEMF is distributed. Now that can all happen inside the device itself, or as you see here, it can be a three-part system where you've got the box, you've got the line and the attachment. You can swap out attachments based on if you're doing a mat, if you're doing small loops, if you're doing a large loop. The loop itself can be 20 feet, so from the machine, so you can be working on large animals, or it can be a shorter loop. But where those things end up, that's where you get that pulsed frequency. And the people who make these machines, they tune up the system to create this hertz. One of the things that I didn't go into in today's talk is a pulse that's either what we call a sawtooth or just a capped out system, so you get a kind of a nice buzz going into it, or a hard hit. Those are, again, some of the things on how the frequency wave is generated. But with that, what you're able to do then is talk about the power of the hertz. And oops, sorry, guys. Maybe I can get rid of that for just a second. Nope. I apologize, Mr. Gauss. I've covered your face with our logo. But we've got, yeah, I thought I could, oh, there it is. Let me get rid of that for just a second. There we go. So there's different powers, but it's all about what the hertz is and the magnetic power. So Gauss has his version, so you'll learn about how power is in Gauss. Tesla has his version. So we've got these two things. It's either Gauss or Tesla. So your machine talks about how your PEMF is powered with Gauss or powered with Tesla. And if you were to take a look at what does it mean? Well, basically 10,000 Gauss is 1 Tesla. And that's a unit of measurement of magnetic induction, also known as magnetic flux density, and it is used to measure the intensity of a magnetic field. So with your device, the company that makes your device, they create this product that you're using, and they're going to be laying out the amount of power that comes out of it. So the goal is to have that resonance come out, the 7.83 come out through an amount of power measured in either Gauss or Tesla. So some people have like a 500 Gauss unit. Some people have even more, like the top end. So usually it's around 2.0 Tesla, 2.1, but that's 20,000 Gauss. And so now you can see, and we often talk about the dropper or the bucket. And so you can have a tiny amount. So you can have 10 Gauss. You can have 100 Gauss, 500 Gauss, 1,000 Gauss, 10,000 Gauss, and now you're getting into the Tesla. So you can see all these different variations of power sending out this frequency. And that's the absorbability of penetration through the body of the animal or the human that you are working with. So now you can see with your device how much is there and how much the person is getting, and kind of gives you an idea as far as the amount of time somebody needs to be on it to get saturated in that area for the body to be able to use that frequency in a healing type of mode. And with that whole system, you now have a better idea of PEMF. And so now we can take, like I was talking about, you can have like 100 Gauss going across that line to your device, or you can have 10,000 Gauss. And usually the more powerful machines, you can dial it down and change it out between that. There's an analog dial versus a digital button that you push. So it's all, preset. So you don't have the option of changing the amount. But you can deliver it in a large amount over a short amount of time, or a smaller amount over a larger amount of time. So you can start playing around with the math of your machine. So the other component in there we're kind of hinting about is your session or treatment time. And in the world of PEMF currently, the healthcare professionals get to use the word treatment. The people that have devices that are using them that don't have a medical degree, they have to use the word session. And the only reason we're asking you to do that is so that the people from the medical professional side don't get upset that you're using the word treatment, because that means in order to say you're treating somebody means you have to have a medical degree. So that's why we interpose them. I try and say session as much as possible. Those of you that are doctors know what I'm talking about. Those of you that are not doctors know what I'm talking about as far as session and treatment. So we've got sessions or treatment time, and it can be anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. If you have a mat or a bed that has a very low power, you can sleep on it overnight, those kinds of things. And what we find is there really isn't a toxic level of this frequency, but the body does do a detox. So you can become toxic from using it for a longer period of time because your body is detoxifying the areas. And so people that notice that they feel sick or nauseous after using it, their body's detoxing it. Another reason why people would feel that way is because their medication is now being absorbed better. So they could actually become toxic with the medications that they're on, which is why we talk about when you become a member of the AOPP, part of getting your certification is learning one of those points, is making sure you know what medications the people are on and what is the adverse effect of taking too much of that medication. So those are some of the things that we go through too. Real quickly, I want to say hi to Christy. Hi, welcome. Glad you're here. Good to have you on as well. But that is what I wanted to talk about today, is the basics. We're going through this again. Going back to the basics, I've talked about PEMF. I've talked about what the 7.83 hertz is all about. That is the Schumann resonance. Talked about where it comes from. Talked about Gauss. Talked about Tesla. Talked about time. And the idea of this is so that when somebody comes up to you and go, what is this? What's PEMF? What does that mean? You are able to, with today's recording that you could watch, come up with a quick 60-second elevator pitch on what it's about. And now you've got a chance to put that together so that when somebody asks that question, you can kind of relay it in a way that they can understand it, and that you can begin to present that. So I want to thank you for your time. It's been a short amount of time, but yeah, I agree with Tina. Hi, Tina. And it's always good to review the basics. It's a good refresher, kind of get you on track. Also, when we first started this, there was a lot of misinformation that was out there. And now you'll see some of that's getting scrubbed, and we're getting more to the basics where you know, especially with those of you that are out there in the fields using this and explaining it. There's healthcare professionals that still don't know what this is about. I talk to chiropractors all the time. They go, what is that PEMF thing that you're doing? What's that all about? And, you know, even patients that come in, they go, what's that machine over there? What does it do? And so it's a great opportunity to educate and to inform. And oftentimes they'll go, hey, you know what? I've got a shoulder problem. Can we try it on that? Which is good. And that's what we want too. And so there is lots of things that we can do. We're here as the AOPP. We want to get the word out. We want to educate people. We want to help people out. Those of you that are with us and are certified, have us on your website, have a link to your business that's on our website, and share, like, know, understand, present, take our information. You can take today's video, the link that's on Facebook or YouTube, share that with your friends, what I just went through, the basics. Is like, hey, if you want to know the basics, here's the link to Dr. Jerry talking about it. So again, we are a resource for you to use. And real quick, I want to answer this from Mandy. You know, that is one of my, those of you that have been around long enough know that I've always talked about, wouldn't it be great if we could bring PEMF into burn units? There isn't enough information on that. But as far as renewing tissue, helping damaged tissue restore itself, I think that PEMF units should be around for burn victims. And that if you know a place where you can set that up and do some trials, that would be great. Another one for me is, you know, people that have to amputees that have to get a prosthetic put on. If you can imagine using PEMF around the surgical area and having that get healed up so that they can get the sleeve on and get the boot on the area without inflammation that they have to go through, that to me would be another great step too. So there's some, you know, some things to think about as people that have PEMF devices, some doors that you can knock on. So again, like and share us. We have two groups here. We've got the Facebook that those of you that are watching us on, we've got YouTube. There's also members only. Fortunately, members only Facebook will not allow us to link up and do a live broadcast. Otherwise, this would be there as well. And oh, Hazel, this is good. This is good information. She had a bad burn on her arm, and there's hardly any scarring, which is good. There's, you know, you get that raised scar. You've got, you know, chelation, you know, that can happen, or keloids. And so you want to make sure that you can get the word out to people too. Members only, I'll hang out there to answer any questions you guys might have. There are a couple of questions in here that I can definitely answer off the broadcast because it's going to take too much time. And those of you that are new to what you're watching, what we are all about, on our website, we have our code of ethics, you know, who we are, what we're about. We are pro PEMF as long as it's done in the proper way. So to learn more about it, you can always become a member. You can get certified. We've got different certification classes. Take that certification and use that whenever you go and present yourself to professions and boards, regulation boards. The more that they know about us and our existence, the AOPP is in 17 countries. There are 17 countries that use our program, our certification courses. So we are growing. And we had a great growth last year. This year, we just finished our convention. Again, it's in those of you that went to it, remember you have 60 days to go back and review things. But again, if you have questions or if you have tips, we're always open to hearing what's going on. And just like Hazel shared with us, personal uses or wins that have happened. So share your wins with us too, and reach out to us. Always glad to have everybody on board. And I look forward to talking with you too. And Karen, I'll answer your question, and Christy, I'll answer questions offline as we move forward on this, because they sound like really good conversations to have. So thank you, everybody who's been with us today, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.